What is going on, guys? So I'm just gonna be breaking down kind of how much this whole trip costs. So basically I'm here for a total of like 11 days. I have about a day left here, and honestly I'm super excited to go back home because I am purely exhausted from this trip. So much fun, but again, I feel like a week would have been enough. I feel like if I would have left like Tuesday or Wednesday, that would have been great, but I am leaving like Friday night, so I'm gonna be super exhausted. So basically, I'm just gonna start with the basics. So the flight, it ended up being free. I ended up using my Delta miles for that. So that didn't cost me anything, which was good. Otherwise, that would have cost me around $350. The second thing was the Airbnb. Now this did ended up costing me, with fees and everything, $850, and that was for 10 days. Basically 11 because I ended up getting it on Tuesday, but I didn't get in here until Tuesday at like 9 p.m. So we're just gonna say 850 for that, and then after that, so the food I went out to eat every day, and I spent about $100 a day. So that ended up being 1,000. So far for the trip total, I'm at 1850. But then the shuttle from Cancun to here was 150. Just rounding it down by like 20 bucks. So that means I'm at 2,000. And then the shuttle back, because if you book it in advance, it's literally like 70 bucks. So I'll just be at 2,100. Now the thing where it got expensive is when you like truly go out. So there's a couple of places. One is called Bagatelle. The other one is called Tulum. So these are kind of like beach clubs, restaurants slash places where you just get drinks. So I ended up meeting some awesome people, which is what made this trip super insane. But basically, that is where I spent most of my money. But so other than that, this whole trip would have probably cost me 2 grand flat. So instead, I went there on Sunday, and then the entrance fee alone was like 1,000 pesos, which really wasn't bad. Got a couple of drinks. So in total, that ended up costing me $250 just that day on Sunday, which again wasn't really bad. So that was 250. Now, the thing where it got expensive was kind of on Monday. So on Monday, I ended up going back to Bagatelle, did the same thing, cost me like another 250 and actually I got brunch there too. So I ended up paying close to 350. So that was another 600. So I'm literally at like 2,800 now for the total, which again is not bad at all for basically 2 weeks. Now on Monday night, because all the people I ended up like being with then, they were leaving on Tuesday. Some extended their stay until Wednesday, but most of them left on Tuesday. So it was kind of two big groups. We all got together, and it was basically we wanted to go to Taboo Tulum, which is like this restaurant beach club thing, and we're like, let's just blow off steam, finish the night strong. I don't know too much of that night. I did black out. I'm gonna just be straight up honest with you guys on that. I was done. I ended up ordering a total, like the food wise, again wasn't bad. It cost me maybe like 1,500 bucks. But then, so now we're at 2,900. The bottles is what ended up sending it over the roof a little bit. Again, it wasn't too bad considering the fun and like all the memories and shit that it went down. So I think it was 100% worth it. But in total, I ended up ordering 7 bottles of Don Julio. I ordered some of these, it was called like a fire chalice or stuff like that. I don't remember how many I ordered. All I remember seeing on my credit card the next day with a total for $4,200. So again, it really wasn't bad. It was a lot of fun for that night. So that was 4,200, which basically brings the trip total to about almost $8,000. As well as then I ended up keep going because we ended up going back to one of their places again with more bottles. So right before we left, I had to order more bottles, which means I ended up spending another $1,290. So again, almost 1,300, which basically means my total for the trip is about right under $10,000, which again is basically like $1,000 a day. It's not too bad. It was mainly just that one night. So again, no complaints. It was 100% worth it. Totally awesome. One of the best trips I've ever had. But yeah, so that's basically how much I spent on this trip. Now, obviously, if you do it differently, you don't have to do stuff like that. And I just left out a couple of things here and there, like I did the ruins of Taboo. I ended up doing one of those scuba diving things. So again, that's like another $200 here and there. So I'm just gonna basically say I spent between $9,000 and $10,000, closer to the $10,000 range. But yeah, that is how much this trip cost. Realistically, if someone wanted to go on this trip and you would plan it wisely, it's one thing, I forgot to bring pesos, so I kept having to go to the ATM here. And again, fees. So if you do it wisely and ahead in advance and you just bring cash, US dollars, you will be fine. You can easily do a 10 or 2 week trip here. And if you plan the shuttle in advance and all of that stuff, you can very easily get away with doing this trip for about $1,200, I would say, which again, for 2 weeks is not bad at all. So yeah, that's kind of the way that I spend my money. And again, you can do it way cheaper in my opinion. And especially that's if you do it split by 2, obviously you can go even cheaper. But yeah, that is basically it. And you obviously don't need as big of a Airbnb as me. I have 3 stories, 2 pools, not necessary, I just got it. So yeah, that is how much I ended up spending on my trip to Tulum. And I do have to say, one of the best trips, and I have a little other travels coming up here, but I do believe I will be coming back here sooner rather than later. Just depends, because I am most likely going to Hawaii and I am going to my place in Costa Rica, so the whole beach thing again. But next time it will most likely just be like a 3-4 day trip. But other than that, that is how much I spent. Hope you enjoyed the video, and peace out.